Welcome to Lesson 4. This lesson is divided into two parts. This is part A, where I'll show you how the 5 Platonic solids are hidden within sacred geometry patterns. We'll begin by building the 5 Platonic solids from a Metatron's cube, and then we'll draw them from the flower of life. We are drawing using the guides which are already prepared. You can pause the video to draw them yourself or use the ready-made template included in the lesson workbook. You will need the base geometry, a ruler, a pencil, and a color pen to enhance the newly created shape. The first solid we will work on is the tetrahedron, a four-faced shape made entirely of equilateral triangles. To start, use the Metatron's cube as the base. Find the centers of 3 outer circles that are not adjacent to each other. Use a ruler to connect the centers by drawing straight lines between them, forming a triangle. Now, connect the vertices of the triangle to the center of the central circle. Enhance the shape. You now have a 2D projection of the tetrahedron within the Metatron's cube. To make it stand out, you can go over the lines with a darker pencil or a color pen. Now, use the flower of life as the base. Find 3 petal tips, the pointed ends where 2 circles intersect, that are not adjacent to one another. Using a ruler, connect these 3 points with straight lines to form a triangle. Now, connect the vertices of the triangle to the center of the flower. You should now see the 2D projection of the tetrahedron. To bring the shape to life, go over the lines with a darker pencil or a color pen. Next, we'll draw a hexahedron, also known as a cube. Start by connecting the centers of the outer circles in the guide. I just skipped to one side. Creating a hexagon. Then connect the center of the central circle to the 3 non-adjacent vertices of the hexagon you just created. This will reveal the cube. To bring the shape to life, go over the lines with a darker pencil or a color pen. Now the cube is clearly visible. Now, using the flower of life, connect the tips of the petals to create a hexagon. Then, connect the center to the 3 non-adjacent petal tips. This will reveal the cube. Use a color pen or a pencil to enhance the shape. We are now working on the octahedron. Start by connecting the centers of the outer circles to form a hexagon. Then, draw a triangle across the top 3 points and another connecting the bottom point to the 2 upper ones. That reveals the octahedron. Go over the lines with a color to make it pop. Now, let's draw the octahedron from the flower of life. Connect 6 petal tips to form a hexagon. Then, draw a triangle using 3 tips across the top and another triangle connecting the bottom tip to the top upper ones. That forms the octahedron. Use a color to highlight the shape. Now we are drawing the dodecahedron. Start by forming two overlapping equilateral triangles to create a hexagram, also known as the Star of David, a six-pointed star that symbolizes balance and harmony in sacred geometry. Next, trace lines connecting the nearby circle centers around the hexagram. This creates a base for the next step, new triangles that expand outward from the first shape. To do this, connect the vertices of the star to the centers of the lower surrounding circles. These new lines extend the pattern outward and start to reveal the full structure. As you continue connecting points and layering triangles, the dodecahedron begins to take shape. It might look complex at first, but it all comes together once you follow the motion. Now we start revealing the shape by drawing a few smaller lines. This may be a little tricky to explain step by step, so the best way to follow along is to watch closely and draw as I go. Take your time, pause the video if needed, and just mirror what I'm doing on your own drawing. Use a colored pen to enhance and bring the final form to life. Now we are drawing the dodecahedron using the flower of life. Start by forming two overlapping equilateral triangles using the petal tips. This creates a hexagram, also known as the Star of David. Next, connect nearby petal tips around the star to form a base that will guide the next layer of triangles. From here, connect the vertices of the star to the additional petal tips in the lower surrounding area. As you keep connecting points and layering triangles, the dodecahedron begins to take shape. Now we begin revealing the form with some smaller connecting lines. This may be a little tricky to explain step by step, so the easiest way to follow is to watch closely and draw along with me. Take your time, pause the video if needed, and just mirror each move. For these slightly more complex shapes, I suggest you watch the full process once first, then rewind and follow along in slow motion if needed. This is also where having the templates can make a big difference. So if you'd like to use them, you'll find a link in the description or on our website along with the downloadable workbook. Now we are drawing the Icosahedron from the Metatron's cube. Start by forming a hexagon using the centers of 6 outer circles around a central one. This gives you the base structure to work from. Next, begin extending lines to the centers on the surrounding circles. These lines will help you find the key intersections needed to place the triangles accurately. Use those intersection points to build a series of equilateral triangles, layering them symmetrically around the hexagon. The network of triangles begins to reveal the 20-faced structure of the icosahedron. Since this shape is more detailed, I recommend you watch the process once, then rewind and follow along in slow motion. You can also use the template to make it easier. The link in the description, and it is included in the downloadable lesson workbook on our website. Finish by tracing the shape with a colored pen to make the icosahedron stand out. Now, let's draw the icosahedron using the flower of life. Start by tracing straight lines through the pattern, connecting petal tips and extending them across the geometry. These lines help reveal hidden intersections and guide the structure of the shapes. Once those guidelines are in place, find 6 key petal tips that form a hexagon around the center. This hexagon becomes the base for building the next layer of equilateral triangles. Using the intersections from your guidelines, start connecting triangles around the hexagon. As you layer more triangles, the icosahedron begins to emerge. Since this shape is a little more detailed, I recommend you watch the full process first, then rewind and draw along slowly. You can also use the template to make it easier. Finish by tracing the final shape with a colored pen to make your icosahedron pop off the page. And that's it for part 8 of this lesson. You've just learned how to draw all 5 Platonic solids, first from the Metatron's cube and then from the flower of life. These forms are the building blocks of sacred geometry, and now that you have seen how they appear from both patterns, you have a deeper connection to the symmetry and intelligence behind them. In part B, we'll take this to the next level by building each solid in 3D using the templates. So get your scissors, ruler, and glue ready. It's going to be a hands-on and super satisfying experience. Thanks for being here with me in this creative journey through geometry. And remember, it all starts with a circle, a line, and a little curiosity. See you in part B. Bye.